to the acoustic set.
Taylor Swift, global superstar and recurring motif for the government's problems. As Labour's cruel summer drew to a close, there was a row over free tickets to her concerts for the Prime Minister and other senior politicians. And they just can't seem to shake it off. Now it's been reported that several figures advised the Met Police to go against its protocols and provide the singer with a blue light escort to her Wembley appearances in August. They include the Home Secretary, Yvette Cooper, the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, and Keir Starmer's recently departed Chief of Staff, Sue Gray. Then, after an intervention by the Attorney General Richard Hermer, the special escort, normally only given to royals and cabinet ministers, was forthcoming. When Taylor Swift's management threatened to cancel the concerts after her Vienna dates were abandoned following a serious security threat, it was felt it would have led to an embarrassing and economically damaging situation if they didn't go ahead in London. One report estimated the UK economy got £1 billion boost from the British leg of the tour. More economic benefits on this scale are what the government is after at tomorrow's International Investment Summit. DP World, who are promising a big bonanza for the London Gateway Port, are back on board. They threatened to drop out when the Transport Secretary Louise Haigh called them a rogue operator after their P&O ferries subsidiary sacked 800 people. Then Keir Starmer and other ministers had to row back after a departmental statement rather pointedly said new legislation would protect seafarers against rogue employers. Keir Starmer and other ministers have since managed to contradict this and smooth things over, with the deal now seemingly rescued.
It's not the government's position to boycott them. The Transport Secretary plays a massively significant role, has played a major role in some of the investments that we are pulling into the UK as a result of that. So we work very closely together, but sometimes these things happen. Really happy to clarify the government's position.
After a tumultuous 100 days in office, many of which he might rather have never happened, Keir Starmer may be wishing that, as Taylor Swift puts it, today is never too late to be brand new.
Well, John McTernan is a political strategist who was Tony Blair's Director of Political Operations when he was Prime Minister. I spoke to him earlier and asked if he thinks the latest row over P&O ferries has been resolved now.
Yeah, look, yes, I do. DP World, the owners of P&O, are going to come to the investment summit. Their investment is going to go ahead. And I suppose it shows you can't dictate the policies of this Labour government by just threatening to take away your money. And I think that's a good thing. I understand in government you don't want to have a row with a big investor, but equally you can't be seen to bend or sway to their opinions and or their feelings.
Is it the government's position that DP World, the owner of P&O ferries, is a rogue employer or not? Because one part of the government's been saying that it is, and another part of the government's been saying it isn't.
Look, it's bipartisan that P&O were a rogue employer. Grant Shapps was against it when he was Transport Secretary. The point is,
it's not what the Business Secretary was saying this morning, though, is it? The Business Secretary, Jonathan Reynolds, went on the television and said it's not the government's position that DP World is a rogue employer.
The government's position is clear. What P&O did in the past will be banned by our legislation. So the question isn't whether you're a rogue employer or not a rogue employer. The question is, will you obey the laws of the UK and will they favour workers' rights rather than rogue employers?
There's also the messaging around the VIP escort for Taylor Swift.
Oh, look, this is a piece of nonsense. Can you imagine the headlines if the Metropolitan Police had decided that there was no real threat to Taylor Swift? We know that there are terrorists who will attack fans in arena going to watch music, pop music. And so a serious threat had to be dealt with a serious response. As it happened, we had a huge boost to the British economy with Taylor Swift appearing. We had a huge boost to people's well-being by going to and enjoying the concerts, and we actually protected a visitor from a real threat. We live in an era of geopolitical uncertainty, of genuine threats, genuine terrorist threats, genuine threats to people's safety. The duty of the government, the foremost duty of government, is to provide security.
Do you think there's been a clear, strong political narrative supporting Labour's first 100 days in office?
I do think the red thread that runs through all of those activities has not been clear. The narrative, the framing, we're doing this for these reasons to achieve this outcome. 10 years of British renewal is what Labour was elected on, change is what Labour was elected on, but the story of that change and where Britain will be in 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, that's not been spelt out well enough for me.
Why do you think it is that Labour haven't communicated as well as you'd have liked then in this first 100 days? It's not as if they didn't have enough time to plan, is it?
In a way, they didn't have enough time to plan because this election was earlier than I expected it to be. I thought it would be, I thought it'd be a November election, December election. I thought that
so Labour still had time. Sir Keir Starmer was calling for an election for a long time, and if he was serious about it, you'd expect he'd have a plan.
Labour's manifesto was ready in May this year. Labour was ready to fight on a programme, a platform of change. That was clear. Governments make missteps when they come in from opposition. It's so different to be a government than be in opposition. The question is Labour this time going to learn from what they did as Labour did last time? I believe they will. And I do think politics needs to be at the heart of number 10. I think that's back now.
John McTernan, thanks very much for sharing your thoughts.
Thank you.